This week on Transition Radio TV, we have the fabulous Tammy Twotone. She's an amazing comedian.
As well as the Transgender Highway segment and
the Transition Video of the Week. Transition Radio TV, brought to you by thebestformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your cross-dressing and transgender needs. Visit their website at www.thebestformstore.com and tell them Transition Radio sent you.
Ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings.
And your hostess, Jessica Lynn Cummings.
Hello, and good evening, and welcome to Transition Radio TV, live from Silver City, New Mexico. Hot Silver City, New Mexico. Thank God we finally got our motor in, so that hopefully my beloved young lady here will replace it, since I have no clue how to replace a motor to an AC, the perks of being married to a transgender female. Anyway, so glad you guys have been able to join us tonight. We appreciate all the support we can get, and we appreciate your love as much as we love you. Tonight, we have Tammy. I can't. You see, it's the heat. We're sitting here with a fan, and that's what's trying to keep us kind of a little bit comfortable in this RV. But anyway, tonight we have Tammy Twotone. She's a stand-up comic working in New York City and Boston. She says, I also am the producer of my own show at the Broadway Comedy Club on West 53rd called Twist. I've been in the business for some time and had the pleasure of sharing the stage with the likes of Janine Garofalo, Eugene Merman, Judah Friedlander, and others.
Comedy is one of the toughest professions there is. I've worked hard to get to where I am today. I've also been lucky enough to meet some very supportive people. I'm also a person of trans persuasion. I was born in Germany and came to the States when I was 3. I am the middle of 5 sisters. I am curious by nature and mischievous at heart. I've spent the last 15 years working with special needs kids, which I plan to be the subject of a future book.
I come from a broken home, grew up in the projects, and know abuse and hate only too well. When I perform, I share my views of the world as I see. Absurd. I love discussing everything from what it's like to be a trans woman in a straight cis world, a world that constantly presents me with an image of myself that I do not recognize. It's something I must navigate through every day. I also explore farts.
I am the only woman of trans persuasion that I know who can say that a conversation with Leonard Nimoy gave me the confidence to continue my transition after I had already danced for him. I am a parent of a 15-year-old son. I have been together with the love of my life for over 20 years.
I have the dubious distinction of being an ex-Marine, dubious because I want them to kill me, not save me.
People find out transgender, they ask me the same question no matter where I go. It's the same thing all the time. They look at me and they go, where do you pee? In the toilet. Where do you pee? And I always have to give these little, little speeches and tell people. So I'm going to give you the short version of it. Ladies, if you walk into the ladies' room and I'm in there, relax. I'm in there just like you for one reason and one reason only. Drugs. Smoke a little weed, do some coke, douche. Check my makeup and I'm on my way.
And now welcome to the show, the hilarious Tammy Twotone. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you doing today?
It was interesting watching that little clip. I don't like watching myself,
farts, huh?
but yeah, where do you pee?
So
I've actually do a lot of that stuff.
When
people ask me that question, I just look at them and say, I'm peeing right now.
Exactly. I don't know what the big deal it is about bathrooms, you know. What I did ask you a little bit, I don't think you heard me, so you explore the art of farting?
Oh, everything to do. Well, Louis C.K. said it best. He said, because some people say fart jokes are crude and they're beneath. It's, very banal stuff that you really shouldn't laugh at. But Louis C.K. said you don't have to be a genius to love fart jokes, and you don't have to be an idiot to not like fart jokes. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, everyone loves a good fart joke.
Exactly.
Everyone loves a good fart joke.
I think in society, instead of getting a better sense of humor, people are getting more and more uptight about everything. That seems to be the wave of the future. It's like, have fun.
I don't know.
Life,
I think that's always been there. I think you're constantly fighting against that over seriousness. I don't think that's anything new.
Oh, exactly. And what you were saying, comedy is so important in our lives for healing ourselves and others. It's also a great way for educating people. Let me ask you, what got you interested in comedy, and when did you decide this was something that you needed and wanted to do?
That's kind of similar to that question of when did you first realize that you were trans? Always wanted to do comedy. Even before I thought anything to do with my, gender or sexual identity, comedy was the thing for me. I loved it. I thought comedians, people who made you laugh, could take you out of yourself, were just absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. And do you believe that you can definitely educate people through comedy?
Yeah, I think the great thing about comedy, when you're talking about educating people, and you have to be really careful about this, is people don't want to be preached at. People don't want to be talked down to. If you can just sort of break that wall of tension between two people, you can pretty much discuss anything and just, show a little respect, have a little humility, and realize that, yeah, things are serious and we have a lot of serious things to deal with, but we're never going to get through it if we can't laugh once in a while.
And laughter is a form of therapy, and people don't realize that even though you create a joke that makes fun of somebody, it actually brings the guard down, or it should anyway, bring the guard down and allow your cells to heal, because laughter is just an amazing thing. If we walk around life taking ourselves too seriously, that's how we get sick, I believe. It's
exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, as I told you earlier in my biography, I grew up in the projects in a broken home, and there was a lot of stress. There were a lot of bad things going on, and it was really tough. And one of the ways that I got through, and my sisters got through, was through laughter, making jokes. It really can be the difference between life and death. It was for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that, because when I first started coming out, people in my place of employment were, starting to find out that, this is who I was. And everybody asked me, why would you do something like that? And, I would say, well, you see, they were going to make me cut my hair, and this was the only way I could keep it. And, that's a stupid little joke, but, it broke the ice, and people were like, wow, you're pretty cool, and so it was like a good icebreaker and tension breaker as well.
Yeah, and it's a good way to get people
absolutely.
It's a good way to keep people or have people listen without being so defensive, because they laugh, and laughter just does something to your body that it brings down that wall, and it's like, okay, this is cool, and we use that as a defense mechanism. A lot of people, when they're uncomfortable, they use things as a form of laughter to become a little more comfortable, and I think it's therapy. Absolutely. It's very healing. It's an extremely important art, I believe.
And it's also, from my point of view, it can also be a lot of fun too.
So when you laugh, it's almost like your ego goes down and your inner child comes out.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure you feel like a kid when you're out there performing.
It depends how much alcohol I'm drinking.
That also helps. Yes, alcohol is one of those things that.
No, it's it can be that. It sometimes is that when it's at its best and you're having a great time and the audience is with you. Yeah, it's absolutely that.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of kids getting together and having fun. The adult gets all riled up and angry, and the child doesn't really. I mean, the children do get angry, but children are more prone to be in a happy place until the adults mess that up.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
What childhood did you grow up in?
I could ask you the same question. When you were dealing with trans issues, was there a lot of anger? How did you deal with that anger? I dealt with it through humor, which I dealt with everything through humor. But I always ask the same of my audience and people that I talk to. Yeah, I can talk about it from my point of view, but I'm curious to see how other people see it, because that just helps me.
I was never really angry, because I didn't learn about transition until I was like around 38 years old. And that's a long story, but to me, it was like, wow, okay, there's a name for this. And at the time, I think we all go through that self-discovery, and then it's like we become so gung-ho about the self-discovery, and we become very militant about it. And I just really wanted to learn more and more about what this whole thing was. And back in 2003, there wasn't a lot. There wasn't even YouTube videos back then. So, I looked at it as a growth, as a spiritual growth, as a self-discovery type of thing for me.
And I agree with you, Tammy, on the humor thing, because I think that's what helped me come out in a lot of ways. Because even before I transitioned, I would crack jokes about knowing what my issues were, but I would crack jokes in a public place about it. Like, I'd be working with the guy, and he'd be like, oh, wow, that chick's so fine. And God, I mean, she just got a great body. And I said, but her shoes are disgusting. And he looks at me and goes, did you just really say that? And I'm saying, no, what'd you hear? So that kind of thing. So it was like, I think that kind of eased me into giving me the courage to actually come out, because the more I joked about, I'm going through a midlife crisis, whatever the case is, hey, maybe I'm going to wake up one day with boobs, I'm going to have to get a third arm sewn on, that kind of thing. And people would die laughing, and they were like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. And I saw how they received that joke about that situation. And so I'm like, well, what if I really did come out and start being me? How would people then handle it? So it was kind of like playing that little game of back and forth, like a shuffleboard match, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And so what I said before is, you're going through a transition, or you're going through anything in your life that you think is major, or that people are not going to respond positively to. Most people don't take time to think about the other person's point of view. They're just as nervous, probably, and scared and worried as you are. And by cracking that joke, like I said, you break down that wall.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, how supportive has the trans community been with you regarding, do they go watch your shows? I mean, and the reason I ask that, because I find a lot of times that the trans community really doesn't support their own. How do you
You want to get me in trouble?
No, I think it's something that needs to be talked about, because, especially with all the stuff that's going on nowadays, and
Well, let's put it this way. I think from my point of view, from my little narrow point of view, being a stand-up comedian, trans people are not very supportive because the last place you want to be is in a comedy club in New York City, for example. If you're trans and if the comedian knows about it and happens to be just a general asshole, it would be the worst hell in the world. Getting trans people to comedy shows when they see images in the media, on Colbert and everywhere else, which are basically buffoons, is tough. Is very tough. I find sometimes the people who we look up to as leaders probably could do a little bit more than they do. How's that for an answer?
Yeah, it's a good answer, and I think eliminating fear, because yes, no one likes to be made fun of. No one likes to feel threatened. No. But I believe that sometimes we are our own worst enemy, and I believe that if we adventure to the unknown, like going to a club, a comedy club, to support a trans comic. Right. Maybe not going alone, taking a couple of friends, venture out from your comfort zone. It's something that's very enlightening and freeing. And until you do that, you're never going to know how it feels, because you're living your life in fear. You can't live your life.
Right. No, that's absolutely true. And it's true of every walk of life. If you just stay put in your comfort zone, that's where you're going to wind up. You're never going to get any further than that. Being trans is just very unique. It's very different. It's not like a lot of things that a lot of people can relate to. And the problem that I've seen in the last 20 to 30 years is our ability to relate and tell those stories didn't start out so well. It's gotten better, and hopefully it will continue to improve. I'm positive that it will continue to improve.
Definitely. And like you guys were talking about, the going outside of your comfort zone, that is absolutely one of the hardest steps to take.
It is.
Because going out, you're different. But the thing is that most people, they don't really realize, or they really don't care about it, and I think we put way too much focus on our status and where we are and everything like that. Yeah. And I found more and more as we move forward, people really don't care. A lot of people, if they see that you're happy and you're a real person and you're not this fake, oh my God, blah, 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 then, you're not over accentuating your role. They're going to be more accepting, and they're going to be very respectful. And that's from my personal experience as going outside of my comfort zone.
No, you're absolutely right. And on that note, it's nice to talk to you.
Well, thank you. We'll see you next time. So anyway, tell us a little... Go ahead, sorry.
You put it absolutely correctly. Couldn't agree with you more.
Thanks. That's just from my experience. But so tell us a little bit about Twist.
Well, Twist, since we're talking about this, Twist is a show that I started doing about 6 months ago at the Broadway Comedy Club. The owner, Al Martin, gave me the opportunity, which was wonderful. I'm indebted to him because I'd been working there for years. And basically, it is a show that is hosted, produced, run, publicized, you name it, by people of trans persuasion. And we have all types of performers and all kinds of audiences, so it seems to be doing well.
Awesome.
And where did the name originate from, Twist?
Just not a lot of thought went into it, because most of what I do doesn't require a lot of thought. But it's just from the word itself, twist. It's just not the usual. It's not a straight line. Things are just twisted. Just enough and in the right way.
That's awesome.
Let me ask you: when you're on stage and you're performing comedy, have you ever been confronted by hecklers?
Are you kidding me? Oh my God, of course. Yes, all the time. Not a problem. One of the things, trends are not what you learn when you do stand-up comedy over and over and over in every place possible, in the worst place possible, is how to deal with someone who may be drunk or just a complete and total asshole. It's, yeah, you do.
And I think it happens with everyone that's doing comedy because the nature of the beast, you're in a club, you're drinking. People then that want the spot in the limelight, they'll sit there and they'll engage with the comedian, and sometimes they make a total fool of themselves, to put it lightly. And it's the nature of the beast, I'm assuming.
It is. It's the nature of the beast. And I've actually received much less heckling on stage and just nasty comments and so on and so forth than I do off stage. So that's different.
There you go. Well, here's a video clip we wanted to share. Tammy's twist.
Hey, you. Come here. So you're a nutcracker, huh? Wow, that's so sexy. Hi, I'm Lorelei Orisis, and I'm in Times Square, and I am highly fucking caffeinated. I'm Tammy Twotone. I'm dancing in front of a fountain. Yay! The Broadway Comedy Club.
At the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. So come down to the show.
And I'll be there too.
Turn that thing off.
Is that one of your partners in crime in comedy? One of the
yes, that is Lorelei Orisis, and she's not so much a stand-up comedian as she is an improviser. She's got years of experience with Second City in Chicago. Also worked at the Improv in L.A. And we tend to work together often. My strength is in stand-up. Hers is in improv. We play off each other well, and we experiment and try new things at Twist. They don't always work, but we always love to try new stuff, and she's game.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What's the difference between stand-up comedian and improv?
Generally, a stand-up is somebody who has material that they have written, they've committed to memory, and one joke after another, or a bit, or a monologue. Someone who is more of an improviser goes out there and just works on an idea or a thought, and they don't have a script, so it's just really off the top of their head.
Awesome. That's definitely that's gotta be pretty difficult to go up and have any material ready to go and then just start going up there and just fly by the seat of your pants.
Actually, a lot of people are very good at that because what they do is they feed off the audience and they feed off the situation, and a lot of times it turns out actually very well because it's not scripted. So you go with it, you tap into that. I don't know. It's in a place you tap into, and having done acting, we used to do a lot of that as practice. They would give you a scenario and then you just improv, and it was fun. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep, and like I said, so we try new things at Twist. It's not just a straight stand-up show. Everything that we do is a twist.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Great. Let's go back on you mentioned in your bio that you came from a broken home. Are you bitter or angry because of this, and or do you feel you have a lot more compassion and understanding due to your life's journey?
I had a lot of bitter and anger. Um, I'm more bitter and angry that I don't get a job that I auditioned for than I am about that right now. Um, yeah, I think because when you're a child and growing up in that situation, you don't understand what's going on and you don't know how to navigate. So yeah, a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger. But again, going back to what I said before, finding out that that really was pointless, it gets you nowhere. I just survived by jokes, telling jokes, making my mother laugh, making my sisters laugh, making the guy who was going to beat me up laugh. So it was a life-saving tool.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
do you feel that you have more compassion and understanding for individuals because of the situation you've gone through? I mean, I believe that
Yeah.
life, it's a learning experience. You know, we get put through challenges
Yes.
and things that happen to us for a reason. We can't be a healer unless we've had to have had some form of healing ourselves. So I
Yes.
believe everything that
Absolutely.
happens for a reason. Nothing just happens out of, just fate or just chance.
Yes. No,
So
I mean, yeah, in that sense, absolutely. At the time, you don't think of it that way. It's just an awful experience that you're going through. Um, in the long run, I mean, I never thought that I would be working with special needs kids, which I've done for the last 15 years. And if I had not had those previous experiences, I probably wouldn't have as much empathy for the kids that I work with. Um, yeah, it's definitely a teaching tool. It's a tough type of teaching tool, but it's one of those things that when you really learn it, it's in your bones. Um, yeah, you have a little bit more patience, a little bit more understanding for others.
That's
yeah,
awesome. And what drove you to work with special needs kids?
That was mostly by accident. It wasn't intentional. Um, I, when my son was born, I didn't spend a lot of time on the road because I wanted to have a relationship. If you're on the road doing comedy 52 weeks a year, you really don't see your kids very often. So I had to find day jobs and part-time jobs to fill in when I wasn't working comedy. And I just happened to know a friend who was looking for people who would be interested in working with children. Um, and having a kid of my own, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I love kids. I love my kid. I get along well with kids. Most of the time, I think I'd rather spend time with kids than adults. Kids are very honest and straightforward, and there's no games going on usually. And I've learned a lot from working with them. I've learned a lot about them, a lot about me, and it's helped me being a parent, definitely.
That's awesome.
and like you said, kids have this special gift. I've worked with a lot of autistic children being an occupational therapist, and they're marvelous. They teach you so much. They teach you how to find patience, understanding, unconditional love. And I
Hmm.
believe that in order to work with these kids, you have to have some sort of hurt. And like I said before, your life challenges prepared you for what you have to do in the future. I believe that there is no coincidences. And like I said, in the moment, we feel like, oh, why is this happening to me? Poor me. Let's play the violin. But everything that happens to us is there for a reason. And I think that's the only way we
Absolutely.
could grow as spirit beings and help one another.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
something
you definitely you have to have compassion for others, and that compassion comes with understanding and patience. And the thing with working with, like you said, autistic kids is not it's not like just communication and patience. You've got to learn a way to communicate with them. They may have speech impediments. There may be physical impediments. There are cognitive impediments. I found that most of those kids that I work with are just like regular kids, and it's just different strategies for learning how to communicate with each other, so that I can understand what they want and provide them with what they need.
they have a different
Absolutely.
modulation system than
Yes.
a person whose nervous system is I hate to use the word normal, but complete. They process things totally different. What
Hmm.
they could be hearing a noise to them sounds extremely exaggerated, and they don't know how to deal with it. That's why they bang their heads. Things have to be in a certain order. If it's not in a certain order, they get all wacky, and we've got to understand these kind of things to be able to deal with them and help them through. But they teach us a lot of patience.
Most people just are not exposed. It's the same thing in the transgender community. If you're not exposed to different types of people through different walks of life, you're really not going to understand people.
Exactly. And then the community becomes very demanding, the same as an autistic kid. You know, they become demanding. It's like we need to learn how to communicate with the outside world. And I think that's the only way we're going to be able to have this beautiful dance, this beautiful balance. And, you know, I believe that a lot of transgender individuals do have some form of autistic behavior, whether it's Asperger's, whether it's some form of neurological impairment due to the hormonal bathing. And a lot of times it's hard for a transgender person to express themselves without expressing anger, hatred. And it's a learning curve for everyone, I think.
As a comic and as a trans person, I try to stay away from that connection. There's too many jokes that I could go with.
Well, I have heard of the term trans experience. What do you mean by a woman of trans persuasion? And tell us about a little bit about Leonard Nimoy.
A person of trans persuasion was just my sort of response to the what I often see too as bickering, impatience, and people seeking validation. And they like this term, but they don't like that term. They like this term, I'm that term. I'm not this, but I am that. Don't call me this, but I am that. So I just kind of threw it together. I'm a person of trans persuasion, however you want to take that.
Awesome.
And Leonard Nimoy.
Tell us a little bit about Leonard.
Well, Leonard chose me as a model for his project called Secret Selves. And the premise was that there's a part of us that we show to the public, kind of what we've been talking about, and part of us that we keep hidden. And at the time, I was only halfway through my transition. I hadn't really gone as far as I would have liked to. There was a lot of reasons for that, and I was just kind of stuck, and I didn't know how to move forward. What Leonard Nimoy did is he interviewed me for the project and asked me a lot of questions. A lot had to do with being trans, working with special needs kids, and so on. And when you do something long enough, you don't think about it too much anymore. It becomes a very routine thing. And to him, he found it astounding that I was doing this for so long, and it becomes such a routine thing. And he kept asking me, well, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I thought he was just nuts. I thought he was going senile or something. And it finally started clicking into me. What he was trying to say is, how do you keep going about this on a day-to-day routine, 24 hours a day, and not moving forward? How do you just make this a normal routine thing, living half a life? I was working with special needs kids as my male self, and then I would come home and be not my male self. And he just found that whole life experience to be absolutely astounding. And he just kept throwing that question at me, how do you do that? And it finally sunk in after a while. I was like, yeah, how do I do that? Why am I doing this? And that really was the push that I needed at that time.
Amazing how certain people come to our lives at the right moment and help us evolve and grow.
Yeah, and of anybody, Leonard freaking Nimoy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I don't believe in coincidences in anything in life. I believe that people
everybody crosses paths for a
reason, and we're here to learn and grow. You know, we get angry at one another. We create all this drama. We create this victimhood, and people don't realize that everything that happens in our lives happens for a reason, and it's all good. In the end, it's all good because it's all about growth, love, understanding, compassion, you know, and becoming better human beings. We want to share another video clip talking about children and how honest sometimes children are. The video's entitled, "You Look Like Shit."
Hi, I'm Tammy Twotone, and I'm here to talk about last night's show at the Broadway Comedy Club. I generally don't do contests, but it was different because it's New York and I wanted to do it. What?
You look like shit. Did you win?
Well, no, I didn't win the contest. No,
Did you get second place?
No, I didn't get second place.
Did you get third place?
No, I didn't get third place.
Loser.
You know, I can cut off your allowance.
It's not possible.
Would you stop snoring back there?
Leave it to kids, right? They are amazing. They are amazing. I think if
he's
we all
a great
got in
actor.
touch
He
with
does
that inner
exactly what I want him to do.
That was so funny.
Did you win? No. Did you get second place? No. Third? No.
We only had to rehearse that, I think, twice. I think we did twice. We did a run through. We just did it nice and slow, and he's great. Like I said, I would definitely hire him as an actor anytime.
That's so funny.
It leads me to ask him my next question. Besides, he seems like an amazing young man. Do you think he'll follow in your footsteps in comedy or some form of acting or something? Because he looks like he has it in him.
God, I hope not. No, I want him to do a real job, something respectable.
Real job. You know, the term real job, though, how many people have a real job and they're miserable? I mean, I know that doing what we love sometimes doesn't really cut it, but I'd rather do what I love and be happy than doing what I don't love and have all the money in the world and be miserable. And I think we as humans have lost touch with that sense of true happiness, because money could buy you things, could pay your rent, get you food on the table, but it doesn't buy you happiness. We think it does, but it really doesn't. But when you do what you love...
Actually, I just want him to get a job where he makes tons of money and supports me when I'm old.
There's an ulterior motive. Let me ask you, how has he taken your transition?
Well, see, that's an interesting thing, because he's only ever known me this way. From the first day he was born, he's only ever seen me this way. There was no real transition. The only real transition is that instead of going to work wearing pants, I stopped going to work wearing pants.
Interesting. So
wow.
then,
So you were transitioning way before.
Yeah, and I started, like I said, slowly. When I first started performing comedy, I was performing at night, and as Tammy Twotone, being myself, and then I'd have to get up and go to work at a 9-to-5 job as my male self, which was not fun. But it was a vampire lifestyle. It was a Jekyll and Hyde thing, and it was just crazy. But my son always knew me as a person of trans persuasion.
There you go. Well, I know the Jekyll and Hyde thing all too well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a ridiculous way to live, but so many of us just don't see a way out of it.
No, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do what you have to do. I had a child. I had to support him. I had to take care of my family, and I just sucked it up, and hopefully was hoping that one day I wouldn't have to do that, and thank God those days came.
And there's no shame in that, and to realize that, I mean, I'm a believer that we're here for a reason. We were born this way for a reason. There's no good way, there's no bad way. It's energy, masculine energy, feminine energy, body that's here to learn something, my spiritual beliefs. I think that by you living your life the way you are living it, you're teaching your son something great. Compassion, understanding, acceptance. You know, it's, like I said, nothing happens as a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, and we're here to grow.
Exactly.
See, I'm one of those people that that believes you don't necessarily teach compassion and understanding and so on and so forth. I think those things are more just endemic in people. I think what people do passively and maybe not directly is they teach hate. They teach, they teach have no compassion. They teach to alienate people, hate people, think of them as less than human. That's what I think people do, is they teach that, whether they know it or not.
But then when we're born this way, like I believe I'm my mother's greatest gift. My mother has come with certain predisposed information, or she was taught this. And
Exactly.
so how do you teach patience? You don't teach patience by showing someone how to have patience. You learn patience by having to deal with situations that make you have patience. So how do you teach someone to have compassion and understanding is by putting in their face situations and individuals that would make you realize, okay, wow, I love this person, and I've always been anti-gay or anti-trans, but this person is in my life and they're trans and they're gay. We teach by being who we are, and it may not be an easy lesson for many to learn.
Yeah, there's a old teacher's poem that says you learn what you live.
Exactly. So that's my point exactly. Sometimes we are put into people's lives to help them learn something. Because you learn through experience. You learn through having to visualize, see, taste, feel the things around you. You don't learn patience by teaching someone how to have patience. It's by, how we say, God, please give me patience. Well, God's not going to magically go, here, have patience. Things are going to happen in your life that's going to force you to learn to have patience.
Yeah.
My belief.
No, absolutely.
Well, you keep asking for patience, it's never going to get there. That's going to teach you to have patience.
There's always a joker in the bunch.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
So what's your next show coming up, Tammy?
I'm on vacation right now, but I'll be doing probably the next show either end of July or August. I'm going to be putting my schedule together for the end of summer into the fall. The next Twist show, I believe, and I have to check my calendar, is in August.
In August. And if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Those are probably the easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Twitter, okay. And I think you also, I provided us with a Facebook page. I don't know if Joe put it up around the lower thirds, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they can find me. They can find me if they're in New York City. Just check out the comedy clubs. You'll eventually bump into me.
That's awesome. Well, anything else you wanted to add or say?
No, this was fun. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
And thank you for being with us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, no, it was fun. It was nice meeting you. Nice talking to you. I hope to get out to your area sometime soon.
So do we.
Hopefully you'll have air conditioning.
Yeah, that should be taken care of by tonight, hopefully.
Okay.
She gets
fingers and toes crossed.
She gets on top of the rig and starts fixing the thing. But thank you so much. We honor you. Keep being funny.
Thank you,
keep
Tammy.
healing the world. Keep working with those special kids.
Thank you.
That's the way we change the world, changing one person at a time.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So thank you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with clips from Transgender Highway.
And the transition video of the week. So stay tuned.
Dr. Vardan Madirosyan is a facial feminization surgeon in Jupiter, Florida. He did a fellowship in facial plastic and reconstructive surgery with one of the fathers of facial feminization surgery. He has also completed an extensive training in FFS for the past 6 years, working in close contact with his mentor. Dr. Madirosyan performs surgeries in his office in a fully licensed operating room or in the local hospital with highly trained and reliable staff. Give him a call today at 561-624-0900. That's 561-624-0900. Dr. Madirosyan is highly qualified and understands our needs.
Gay Life Television is quality broadcasting for the LGBTQ community. With such hosts as David Teen, Davio Flavio, Joe Cranach, and David Stan, we bring you a variety of different live shows each and every week. Find us at gaylifetelevision.com, on your Roku box, or on the Nerox app on your smartphone.
And welcome back, folks, to our journey. Humans have veered away from the natural. This journey has allowed us to be in touch with Mother Earth and all of her beauty.
Here's a clip from us doing our laundry and walking on the nature trail in Georgia. The rig is behind there, but this is all part of the property of the campground, Roy's Hideaway. And we're just kind of giving you a little tour as we walk to the facility. Alright, as closer we get there, I'll turn the camera back on. No, I don't want to use up the, you don't have a lot of...
Down there.
Sounds like something's bubbling.
Smell jasmine.
Yeah. It's actually like a creek. That's a creek. Your eyes can see it. That's like a creek there. It's shaking like crazy.
Well, maybe the little vortex is draining into there.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a vortex right here. See there. Georgia clay.
Oh, this isn't Georgia clay.
The outside is mud.
But outside it's Georgia clay.
See all the lilies on the lake there. And as we're heading to the laundry facility, there are some people that are camped in this area. There's even some houses. People live in these houses here. That there. Here's some more water. Oops. Georgia Wilderness. Oh, look at a tiki, or one of those.
That's the nature trail.
That's the nature trail, which we'll do after we put the laundry in.
In the dryer.
In the dryer.
Where the little totem pole is.
Yes.
That is one of the nature trails.
Yes. members live here. And here's a laundry facility. I'll not kill myself as I try to walk and hold this camera at the same time. Nice washers and dryers. And here's a little lizard. He hangs out here. Hey dude, you're on camera. Alright, as soon as we're on the nature trail, we have some lights. Edge there. Careful with your... So I'm wearing sneakers.
I'm wearing flip-flops. And there's bugs.
Yeah. Little nature trail here. Humanity has forgotten its roots, not realizing that this is where we originated from. The way we live our lives now is very synthetic. A little creek here. That's so cool. Nice little creeks and yes, man-made lights in the nature trail. Okay, so let's turn this around and you can see us here. Alright, it is, what's today, Friday?
You could have warned me.
I could have warned you.
Yeah.
The whole concept is the surprise factor.
No, it's not. No surprises. What if my boob was hanging out because his top is crawling down?
Well, then you give him a freebie of the boob shot.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Anyway, to watch the remainder of the video, visit our blog at transgenderhighway.blogspot.com.
And my boob does not fall out, by the way.
No, so you're not going to... We shouldn't tell him that. So
oh, yeah, no. Maybe it does.
Yeah. Anyway, a butterfly was once a caterpillar. Had time to think of its beauty and worth. Evolved into this beautiful being that has always been.
Never let go and never forget that stage that made you who you are today. And now for the transition video of the week with Isley, can't pronounce it, Riost.
I trust the world, it is violent.
Send us your transition video to transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Again, that's transitionradioshow@gmail.com. We look forward to showing your wonderful transformation. We want to thank Tammy for being on the show. We want to thank our sponsors, thebestforumstore.com and Dr. Mighty Ocean. We want to thank you, the viewers, for taking your time to watching and supporting us for almost 2 years doing this. And this is, I think, our 78th or 79th show. It's amazing how time passes by.
Yes, it is.
And we leave you with another parodies, because we believe if you can laugh at yourself or laugh at life in general, that's the thing. We love you guys, but remember to always love yourselves too. Good night.
Cause I got something to say that it goes something like this. I'm here to tell the young and old about self-love and dignity. The best way to love oneself, jerk off to a DVD. So go ahead and express yourself while you watch some dirty flicks. Doesn't matter if you like guys or jack off to chicks with dicks. I get so horny every single day, but I just jack away to some porn that's gay. For my brothers who like the cooch and boobs, just watch porn that's straight. Play with your prostate. No, there ain't no other way. Baby, watch porn if you're gay. Watch porn if you're gay. If you happen to be straight, rub one out and you'll feel great. Watch that video and stroke your taint. Here's the facts, watch sexual acts. Here's the facts, watch sexual acts. Here's the facts, watch sexual acts. If you like puffs or hairy cracks, white, black, bareback, girl on girl, work it till you see those pearls. Chop that chicken till you're through. While you watch porn on X2, freeze it, pause that video. Betty Davis spanked it too. You won't get hair on your palms from dropping gooey spooge bombs. Spank that monkey, same pop your cork like champagne. Don't matter, it's alright if you're hermaphrodite. Send out a tweet, I'm gonna be my mate. I get so horny every single day, but I just jack away to some porn that's gay. For my brothers who like the cooch and boobs, just watch porn that's straight. Play with your prostate. No, there ain't no other way. Baby, watch porn if you're gay. Watch porn if you're gay. If you happen to be straight, rub one out and you'll feel great. Watch that video and stroke your taint. And remember, gay, straight, bi, lesbian, transgender,